I really mean it. It's not just a line. I really think you're the most attractive girl I've met.
I've always felt, this is very, very strongly, content dictates form. If you interpret what you see and read, it will tell you how it's to be done. It just will. It will tell you when you stay wide and stay wide, or when you gradually go further in, whether it goes dark or whether it goes light. I'm still obsessed with people standing at windows. That I have to blame Vermeer for that. But it has to be felt. If I were acting it, if I were having to do it, how would I feel? And that doesn't mean to say that, sometimes I say, no, the cadence of the line is this. But if it's truly felt, what you capture is two things. One, you capture what goes on behind the eyes, and it's only the cinema can do that. No other can. But you capture things which are done accidentally. Like, for instance, at the end of the film, he gets his hat off and he gets it off on the third one. Now, you can't direct that. That happens. Or when he's tying his shoelaces, he just goes in the middle of it. And you know he's trying not to cry. That's the magic of it. You have to retain the magic, and you have to retain the enthusiasm, because you've got to enthuse not only the actors, the entire crew. I have a very clear idea of what I want, but I'm prepared to change it if it's wrong. I know every shot on this, but if it's wrong, I mean, we had these, where they're making love, we had originally designed 3 tracking shots in. Boring beyond belief. I mean, so boring. And I thought, God, I can't film this, it's tedious. I thought, well, if we see them from above, and we always go right, left to right, left to right, so it becomes circular and dissolve between the two. That will work. I don't know where that came from.
Because I forgot her bloody birthday! My God! If all the men who forgot their wives' birthdays were to come home to suicide notes, the line would stretch from here to the Shetlands.
Can I have the letter?
Why?
It belongs to me!
It had my name on it. My God, aren't women the end? Marries the first man who asks her and falls in love with the first man who gives her the eye.
Look, Freddie, I think you two ought to talk. I'll disappear.
I've got a whole bloody lifetime to talk to her. You stay.
Your character doesn't afraid death, but what about you?
Ooh, you know, I'm sure if I were in a life-threatening situation, some survival mechanism would kick in, and I would. There was one time I was on a mountain, one of the highest mountains in Britain, called Snowdon in Wales, and I was climbing, and the fog descended. When I'd begun the climb, it had been a beautiful day. The sun was out, the sky was blue. I thought this is going to be easy. And then halfway up the mountain, the clouds came down, the mist came down, it started raining, there was a wind, I couldn't see, and my grip on the mountain became absolutely vice-like. So I knew that I must fear death in some way. But in terms of death itself, I don't fear it. As a concept, I know that I'm going to die, but and even contemplating it makes me want to live more fully in a way.
Don't worry about my nerve or judgment. A month or 2 on the wagon and I'll be the old ace again.
Whereabouts in South America?
Rio.
When do we go?
We don't. I'm going alone. That's what I wanted to tell you.
Why, Freddie?
Today, the letter, the suicide attempt. We're lethal to each other.
Because it's told from that point of view, and it's essentially non-linear. It's essentially moving in and out of time and memory. That itself is cyclical. Memory is cyclical. It's not linear. Whenever you see this idea of someone remembering something, and then they tell you, and then they come back to the story, you think, but memory doesn't work like that. It's prompted by some curious thing, you know, a smell, a sound, someone says something, and then you associate that memory on an emotional level of all the other. If you had a row, then you think of all the other rows. If it was joyful, you think of all the other times it was joyful. That's the way it works, and that really comes from T.S. Eliot, The Four Quartets, which is about the nature of time and memory. That's what I love about cinema. You can move in and out of time, provided you keep to the aesthetic so that the audience isn't confused. You say, no, this is going to happen now. If you watch, you'll see something. Like there's something extraordinary about smoke, only because I'm not a smoker and all my family was, and I thought it was so sophisticated. I should love watching. But you see smoke drift, and you drift with it. There's something wonderful about that. I don't know why they really all want love, but they want a different sort of love from someone else. And everybody's idea of love is different. It is not the same. And having that expectation of something, she married Collier probably because he was a nice man and they got on. Probably had very little sex. With Freddie, she finds sexuality, real sex for the first time, and it's overpowering. And that love is overpowering because it's fueled by this extraordinary explosion of sexuality. But then he can't give her what she wants. She wants not just that. She wants the kind of care that she got from Collier, but he can't give it. You know, this is a lad who's, during the war, was either 18 or 20 and going up every day fighting sorties and could be killed like that. And once that finishes and you survive, ordinary life is very dull. And England after the war was dull, it was bankrupt, it was just tired. And suddenly he's not in the Air Force anymore. What do? He drifts from job to job because there's no place for him now. And so it's not just a question of not being able to give love. It's how do I fill in the time? It's Chekhov, Vanya. I'm 47. My God, I'm 47. If I live to be 60, that's 13 years. How will I fill in the time? What will I do? What with? Because you can't live on love. It was very good. It was very good news getting a US distributor because I didn't think it would be that easy, to be honest with you, because it hasn't got a happy ending.
Well, it's an absolutely huge honour to be here at the London Film Festival. I was born in London. I live in London. I think Sandra Hebron has done the most extraordinary thing with this festival over her tenure as its director, and I'm very, very privileged and proud.
London is special because it's my home country, you know, and you do want people from your own country to like it. It's lovely when it goes abroad and that people respond to it, but, you know, I am British, and without it sounding jingoistic, I really do love my country. I'm very critical of it. Lots wrong with it, but we've lots of things that we should be proud of, and I'm just glad that it's here and it's in England.